Welcome back, everyone. It's just me, the captain. Okay, so joining us for part 2 of my brother's PC build for £200. We'll continue where we left off. Hope you enjoy it. Part 3 will be coming up later on this week, if it works. Captain out.
I've also got two smaller ones. One of those is going to be used for a internet Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth as well. So he can pair his phone to it and upload more photos of his grandkids. So that's the motherboard. Pretty straightforward. Next step is to put on a cooler. Again, the cooler I got for an absolute steal. So it had been opened again. It's the Pure Rock Slim 2. That's a nice cooler. I mean, compared to what he had before, this is so much better. Now, I have designed this to be as quiet as possible. So it's already got the AM4 brackets on it. So literally, I've just got to line everything up. But before I do that, I'm forgetting one thing. You've got to put some thermal compound on the old CPU there. So let's put some thermal compound. So you can do whatever you want. A smiley face if you want. But cover it liberally with some thermal compound. Make sure we get all the nooks and crannies, yeah. Don't want to put too much in. You don't want it squirting all over the place because the cooler will sit down on it. So there we go. Nice lot of thermal compound there. Job done. Of which I'm giving that to him. That's my freebie for him. Right, let's get the cooler on. So which way round shall we have it? Probably want this way round, I would think. So just literally hook over the mounting ports. Ooh, you missed one here on this side. Come on, you. That's it. That's it. That one's on. That one's on. And then we flick the levers. And it pushes nice and tight onto the CPU. Give it a wiggle. And there we go. One very nice fan installed. There we go. I'll turn it around, turn it upside down. There we go. So fan header. So we're going to plug this into the CPU ports. Let's have a look, see if we can find where that is. CPU fan port. So that's a system fan. So we don't want that one. We want the CPU fan header. CPU fan is on the back up here. So we literally just plug that in. Normally I would do some serious cable management on this, but since you can't see inside the case anyway, it hasn't got a glass, tempered front panel like I normally build them with. You won't going to see anything. You won't see the lovely RGB light up. Well, you will, because I'll take the cover off. That is basically the motherboard built. So the next stage we are going to go to is the power supply. Now the power supply that I got, I'll move that out of the way. Power supply that I got is a 400 watt, so it's almost twice as powerful as the old one. It's well within the limits of the system, but it's a Silver Plus. Again, I got it for an absolute steal. It's got a very big fan on it for extra cooling, because there's not much cooling in this case because of it being an older case. There's not much like perforated airflow. However, it's a Be Quiet again, matches up to the fan as well, which is a Be Quiet. Again, we're going for very quiet operation. My brother is a classical FM guy and he loves quietness. So we're going to stick that in the system and then we'll get the motherboard installed. That's going to come up in part 2. So I'm going to put this in now and then we'll move to part 2 because I have to do this movie in 2 parts. Join me in part 2. Okay, I've screwed the motherboard in. The fan just clears the top of the case. So we've got maximum cooling potential. The power supply is in, and I'll put the I/O shield on for the motherboard at the back. So that's all in. So now we've just got to put all the connectors on. So here we go. So we need the main motherboard connector, 24-pin connector. Here we go. So that just goes on quite simply. If we have a 20-pin, we just don't use the extra 4 pins there. But I'm pretty sure we have a 24-pin, so let's use it all. Yes, we do. Okay, so that powers the motherboard. So next we've got to get the CPU one. So on here somewhere there will be a lead that says CPU. VGA, so we're not using that, it's for graphics card. VGA graphics card. CPU, there we go. So we've got 4-pin or 8-pin. This is an 8-pin one, so again we're going to use both together. Let's just up the back here. Be careful with the fan headers because they can be quite like a cheese grater if you're not careful. Make sure I'm putting it on the right way, Daz, because I can't get it in. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. That way around. Just so I get the right way around first time. There we go. In and in. Nice clicks. So again, I would be doing some serious cable management normally, but in this case it's not really required because you won't see any of this anyway. So let's move that out of the way. So we won't be using them, so let's tuck those into where the CD case came out because we're not going to be using that bit. We do need to power the hard drive, so that's quite frankly one of those connections there. So we've got to put one of those on. Let's just make sure I get this around the right way. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be that way around. Make sure. Might be easier if I actually take the hard drive off. Actually, do I have one? Yeah, Molex on the end. Molex. I've got plenty of them actually. Absolutely hundreds. Okay. I think what we'll probably have to do is unbolt the hard drive. Just take it out quick. Make sure I have enough room to put this cable on. It's not a modular power supply. Normally I'd use a modular power supply and then use the leads that I want, but in this case, there we go. Give me some more room. So where's the notch? The notch is there, so it's that way around. I have to do some cable management here. Actually, make sure this goes in properly. Okay, let's use you.
Well, that concludes part 2. We're almost there. Join me for part 3, the final part, and we'll see if the thing works. Be good, be kind. Catching out.